Pac-Man World 2 is a 3D platformer featuring the famous arcade character Pac-Man. It's published by Namco. It's pretty fucking cool. The copy I have here is a greatest hits copy, which I think means it sold over 1 million copies. So maybe it's good. I don't know. Let's pop it in.
Orangewall.
Okay, why are we starting with Pac-Man World 2? I wanted to start at the beginning, and for me, the beginning is this game. This is potentially the first video game I ever played in my life. My family got the PlayStation when I was probably 3 years old, and I believe this game was the very first one they got. I don't remember if it came with it. For as long as I can remember, this game has been around. I have many snapshot memories of watching my siblings play it. There's a lot of parts of this game that are kind of entrenched in my brain. The opening cutscene was burned in my brain as a kid. I always thought this one part where it shows like the ghosts and it fades into darkness and you can just see their eyes. I found that really creepy. It's like this weird like pre-rendered thing and the materials are really weird. So I don't know why. That really bothered me as a kid. And it's not even scary, but it still kind of like hits that same kind of nerve with me as an adult. I was charmed by the art style, partly I guess for nostalgia, but also it just looked very nice. The first little level was fairly appealing. Controlling Pac-Man was a pretty aesthetically appealing experience, if that makes sense. He's animated pretty well. His shape is very simple and appealing to look at. There was this bounce move you could do where you could just bounce all you wanted, and that was very satisfying. So I continued the game. It was fine. It wasn't anything special. Truthfully, if I can give my opinion now, it never really became anything super duper special. There's a reason why this game isn't exactly lauded as an all-time classic of video games. It's just like a pretty decent, alright platformer. Nothing super special, but I had a base level of enjoyment. So continuing on, I completed the first little world, and I thought it was nice enough, charming enough, whatever. Then I moved on into the second world, which was this forest level, which was pretty confusingly laid out, but I found, again, the visuals to be very charming. I had plenty of criticisms for it, but I still found a lot of joy in some aspects of it. I found there's this one level where you just bounce on bounce pads, and I found that very charming for some reason. I think it was partly just nostalgia of like unearthed memories of watching my siblings play that once again. But also just, again, mechanically it felt pretty nice to play the game. Butane pain, oh, it's fire. I like how it's specifically butane and not like just cartoony fire. It's specifically fucking butane. Pac-Man takes the butane challenge. Fucking montage of Pac-Man getting fucking cooked alive. Footage of me burning my hand with butane. Well, that's cool. Oh, great. When am I gonna go to bed? It's almost 2 a.m. already. Shit. Oh, what's over here? Nothing. Death, I suppose. Yeah. I can spin Pac-Man around. Then I pretty quickly cleared the forest world. It was only maybe like 4 levels, which I thought was pretty nice. It was just 4 levels and then it gets out of your way and you're on to the next world. And then I moved on to the snow level, the ice level. And I was actually quite enchanted by the ice level in this game. Again, it wasn't anything super duper amazing. It was pretty generic, all things considered. It really hit me in just the right way. I think the realization I came to was this game is the perfect snow day game. It has this nice, like, cozy, soft simplicity to it that I think would be perfect for somebody who's experiencing a sick day or a snow day as a child, peacefully playing a video game alone in the comfort of your house while everyone else is out doing their responsibilities. I think it's the fact that I was kind of isolating myself while I was playing this, not too terribly much, but I wasn't going on the internet while I was playing. I wasn't second screening anything. I wasn't doing any of that stuff. I was just purely experiencing the PlayStation by itself it kind of snapped me back to my childhood when I would have sick days or snow days, and I didn't necessarily have the internet to fall back to for endless daily entertainment. Yeah, this game, not so bad. Not so bad. Till that shit happens. Fuck off. Oh, it's a big ass Yeti thing. Dude, that would have scared the fuck out of me as a kid. Jesus. It's so nice, actually. Like, I feel completely in control of this. Whoa! Spooky was right, you've never wanted me. Well, if I can't have you, nobody will. So she wants to fucking suck Pac-Man. But as the game went on, while I don't know if I ever necessarily hated it, actually I might have hated it at some point. Thank gosh for pack clamber, except it doesn't really work that well, does it? Ooh. Ah, rough. That, it was a shared console. That's so stupid. This particular part. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. God. There were some very frustrating, rough parts, roughly designed parts that I felt obviously could have used more time in the oven. So I don't harbor any ill will towards the people who make this game, but you fucked up. Bullshit! That's awesome. That fucking kicks ass. Just play this in a state of way. That's fucking stupid. That's stupid! I hate. My name's Warwick. I'm 38. Fun. What are you gonna do? What are you gonna do? Okay. It's fair. Okay. Cool. I'm dead. Fuck. It's so cringe. Central Island. See, how the friggity fuck do I dodge that shit? It's so damn stupid. Oh no, it's not that shit. See, that's bullshit. Why the fuck didn't he? That's who I am. I'm fucking done. While I was playing this game, I was up very late for many of my sessions. There was at least one point where I just started rambling nonsense. I think Pac-Man's like allegory for like fucking Stalin's terror, Stalin's paranoia. Stalin killed all the fucking Georgians. But moving on from the lava world was an underwater world. I was actually quite enamored by the premise. So it's actually kind of weird for a kid's game, but in this level, you're supposed to swim around and dodge not only undersea fauna, but you're also supposed to avoid jettisoned munitions and chemical weapons from the US military, which I thought was a really interesting addition. It added a bit of flavor to the world that wouldn't have been there otherwise. I'm just fucking brutalizing Pac-Man right now. This sorry fucker keeps getting fucking killed. Ghosts and mines and shit. Damn. Dumb white ass getting fucking killed by these fucking honkies. Whoa, whoa. Would I recommend this game? It's like decent. It's like okay. I'm probably gonna hit 0.1 second. I'm gonna investigate what the sound was. Something interesting that I thought of when I played this game was that it feels a bit more retro to me than a lot of other PS2 games. What I mean by that is that there have been other PS2 games that came out and were so highly regarded and applauded that they became classics. And when a game becomes a classic, it doesn't tend to stay on the console it was made for. That does happen, but usually if a game is very well praised, the developers or publishers or whatever will make some effort to port those games to future platforms. And typically, especially if you're someone who goes online a lot, they tend to remain in public consciousness because people still discuss the games because they're kind of these touchstones of the medium of games. So a lot of these classic games survive in the modern discourse, and in my opinion, kind of feel less retro than other games that came out around the same time as them, because they are modernized by modern discourse, and also, of course, they're literally enhanced, quote unquote. A lot of those classic games will be displayed in modern resolutions and frame rates and on HD screens. Pac-Man World 2, I'm sure some people still talk about it. I'm sure there are some circles of people who still, of course, are about these games in some way. I'm sure it's on newer stuff, but I guess to me personally, it feels much more like a time capsule of that particular era of time than like Devil May Cry, because Devil May Cry is still very much a present day thing. I just thought that was an interesting thing. I don't know if people agree with that. I think there's some truth to it though.
Whoa, what? What the fuck?
Shit's happening. Is he dying? That was it? I don't know, I thought there was 4, but it seems like there was only 3. That's a fucked up dog. That thing should not exist. Well, that's enough Pac-Man for one lifetime. I probably will never play it again, so thank you, Pac-Man. So let's move on to The Simpsons Road Rage, a game I have very little experience with, and I actually got it sometime when I was a teenager, probably a little under a decade ago. It was my friend's copy. I forget why he gave it to me. I think he must have gotten rid of his PS2, but I have his copy of The Simpsons Road Rage, and I don't think I have ever played it, so I guess it's time to do that now.
I do. All right, that was great.
My general experience with this game playing now was that it seemed fun enough. I played one game of the Crazy Taxi arcade mode. I don't know if I said this already, but this is basically just a ripoff of Crazy Taxi for the Dreamcast, but they put it on the PlayStation 2 and they branded it with The Simpsons for whatever reason. It seemed pretty fun, I don't know. Obviously not the biggest budget project, which is fine. It seemed like they did a pretty good job for what little was here, at least in the arcade mode. And I didn't play too terribly much of it, but I'm just gonna sit here and be optimistic about it and say they did a pretty good job.
Oh, I thought I was winning.
Barney's gone. Also while playing, I took a crack at these like kind of story missions that came with the game. These story missions were a load of dick. The missions themselves are like fine or whatever. They're very simple. It's just you have one objective and you're gonna do it in a very short amount of time. That's really fine. I genuinely don't like mind the missions themselves. The problem with these missions is the way they're implemented in the game alongside a very inefficient loading system. These loading screens are often a full minute of time. The thing about this is that these missions are all like 20-second long missions. They're very short and there's a very high margin of error. So chances are you're going to be failing these missions and reloading a lot. And when you reload a mission, for some reason, that takes upwards of a minute to do, which was very annoying to deal with. I'm not sure what's going on there, like if it was just some weird inefficiency with how they dealt with loading in their shit, or I don't know what was going on, but it was very annoying. You get this situation where you have these 20-second long missions that you're bound to fail, and then you have to spend a minute staring at this loading screen. Did not have very much fun with that. I like how they said it there so that you specifically, for instance, so I'm stuck in this, dancing Homer. Damn. Game's broken.
Always going up to work on time.
And it's flipping to the sidewalk. This game's kind of trash, isn't it? Would I recommend this game? Now, if you, I don't know, if you like The Simpsons. Okay, now we're gonna talk about Call of Duty 2 Big Red 1. This is a World War II first-person shooter in the Call of Duty series. This is another one of my friend's games that I got alongside the Simpsons game, and I only ever played like the first level and then put it away because I didn't really care about playing Call of Duty for PS2 personally. But today we changed that. Today we're gonna experience it. The first level was fine for a Call of Duty game, I suppose. It looked very nice. Like there's this one bit like right at the beginning where you're just like charging down a pathway and you can see a burning house or villa or whatever on fire. There's like planes soaring past and gun shells going everywhere. I thought the atmosphere was pretty decent.
Let me at him, let me at him.
It's a Call of Duty campaign, so it has this weird kind of uncanny feeling of being like a super gritty, violent theme park ride. I'm hardly the first person to make this observation, but when you play these Call of Duty campaigns, you have zero autonomy. The inertia of this game's story is almost completely dictated by the NPCs and the storytelling set pieces. The overarching plot of what's going on, at least to me, is always very confusing. You're kind of just conditioned to follow your allies around and blindly shoot enemies when they attack you. I found this game to be a decent allegory for what it's like to be a child. Genuinely, it just felt like this experience I was ignorantly and passively moving through this experience with all the adults around me telling me what to do and where to go and what to think, and I was just passively accepting it and absorbing, and I had no greater concept of what was going on because I was just some blank character dumped in the middle of a story. What was really the most interesting part about this whole experience playing this game was actually on level 2. It took place in was it Algeria? The level starts and you're sitting on like a truck with like your friends, and your friends are talking, and that was when the game started kind of collapsing. It's running significantly worse than it was in the first mission. This is what it's like to experience post-traumatic stress. This game is just immersing me in what it's like to be a soldier.
Oh God, no! Private, get on that gun!
I was very scared for a second that my PS2 was breaking, but I eventually isolated the problem. I think it was just the disc on Call of Duty 2 Big Red One for me was scratched. I think one of the biggest downsides of physical media is that it is mortal. Discs especially, I'm not exactly sure how these became standard. I know it's because they can hold a lot of storage space, but they are very fragile things and it's very easy to ruin a disc, which when it comes to a video game, sometimes that means popping in a video game and it doesn't boot, or it runs horribly, or crazy shit happens. After this first section with the truck where my squad mates were skipping and it felt sort of like a World War II YouTube poop, here I am later in the level being carted into an endless chasm. Okay, that's not loaded. Are these people supposed to be inside a building or something? Yeah, I don't know if I want to get out of the vehicle. Fuck is this? Whoa, it loaded! The whole experience was very strange, but also pretty funny at points. I would go into combat sections and scripts wouldn't trigger, the game wouldn't advance at times. There was one point where I just didn't have a gun, and I just could not interact because I didn't have a gun.
I wonder what they're hiding behind that door. Hey, cover me, will you? What the hell is he doing? Almost off like breaking into my fly.
Eventually I did make my way through the level, and my squad mates and I all made it up to this doorway, and as is custom with this game, you cannot break down doorways yourself. You are not the one who does it, you just have to wait for the script to trigger. The script telling the game to open this doorway, or whatever the fucking terms are, would not trigger, so I was stuck. The game pretty much soft locks at that point. So yeah, moral of the story, don't go to Algeria if you don't want this to happen to you, and that's the end of that game. Lego Star Wars, the video game. So Lego Star Wars is obviously a crossover between Lego, the toy brand, and Star Wars, the media franchise, and it merges those two into this particular game, which is kind of like a puzzle platformer sort of thing. This was actually my game that I got as a kid. I forget exactly when I got this game, but I think my parents must have got it out of a bargain bin, sort of on the tail end of the PS2's lifespan when I was a little bit older and it can actually play video games. And I remember having a lot of fun with it, so let's pop it in.
What's up, everybody? It's Harry coming back at you with another episode of Lego Star Wars.
So for this game, I kind of just skimmed it because I know what it is and I didn't quite feel like completing the game. I know everything about Star Wars, and I remember playing the shit out of this game as a kid, so I don't need to play the whole game again. And to be honest, I'm really not into Lego video games all that much. I loved them as a kid, obviously. I played the hell out of this game and some other ones. I remember I had a Lego Batman game that I played the shit out of. It was on DS. But as an adult, I find them very unstimulating because they're for little kids and, you know, I don't know, people who aren't very experienced in video games. They're extremely easy and simple. When you die in this game, you just disappear and you come back and you have a little bit less money. Like, it's a very low skill floor. I didn't find the animations to be that satisfying. I don't know. I don't really find it funny. I just am not very entertained by it. And if you like it, that's totally fine. But I just really am not into the Lego video games. I don't think they're very good. They're not even really like, they're not about building either. I never really liked that. They're really more just like puzzle games that are vaguely themed around Lego. And I'll be honest too, I know I'm being a little extra cynical with this one, but let's be real, it is kind of like a benchmark for consumerism. You know, it's a crossover between a major media franchise and a plastic toy brand. I find that very silly in retrospect. I know like it's cemented itself in popular culture as just like, yeah, Lego Star Wars, that's the thing that exists. But I really don't get why we're just like cool with that. Not to say that you can't enjoy Lego Star Wars, it's just a fucking video game, but it is kind of an advertisement. But yeah, as I play, I kind of just played like a few levels. I didn't really go too deep into it, admittedly. I just kind of played some levels that I remembered liking as a kid, and they were okay. If I can say one really good thing about this game, it's that Lego Obi-Wan is sexy as fuck. Anyways, I actually have 3 Lego games, so moving on from Lego Star Wars, I'm moving on to Lego Star Wars 2. I got this one from a different friend. I forget exactly when. It was somewhere last decade. I don't fucking remember. I took it out of the case. I put it in the console. Wouldn't even boot. So, guess we're not playing Lego Star Wars 2. A game I did get to work was Lego Indiana Jones: The Original Adventures.
Oh my god, I did not mean to punch that woman. Children fighting men. Children with guns. Alright, I'm gonna piss real quick. I'm gonna stop the camera. Ah! There's characters hitting me! Can I just... One of the only video games that depicts the death of a child.
So I'm kind of iffy on this game. I'm kind of like so-so about it. I don't really, it's not really, I don't know. It does answer actually the age-old question, what if Legos were racist? Anyways, we should probably move on. Okay, so the next game is Star Wars The Force Unleashed. It's like a Star Wars action game that's kind of based around God of War, I believe. But I remember there's like this weird kind of karma mechanic. I haven't actually played it myself. I've only ever watched someone else play it once, so... Oh, it's Star Wars Battlefront. Cool.
Star Wars Shadowfront.
Star Wars Battlefront 2 is a Star Wars themed first-person shooter whose mission is to depict large-scale battles from the Star Wars movies and extended universe and let you kind of be a foot soldier in those large-scale battles. And I gotta say, this game is fucking awesome.
I love carrying out genocide. Yeah, get fucked. Fucking carpal tunnel from pressing the fucking fire button so much. Oh, that's her!
The premise of the story is that it follows a division of the clone army from the movies called the 501st Legion, I think they're called.
Taking command the elite division of troopers known as the 501st. Now known across the galaxy as Vader's Fist. Vader's Fist.
The intros to each mission are narrated by this one kind of clone character who's recounting his days in the battles or whatever. And I thought that was a very interesting way of framing it. So like every level is a large-scale battle that takes place in the games, but it's really a single-player bot match, and you're gonna die several times, but the match will keep going because the characters you're playing as aren't necessarily like solid characters that are essential to the forwarding of the narrative. You, the player, are kind of this amorphous thing that jumps from body to body as your clone character dies. So in a sense, you, the player, kind of embody more the vague concept of the 501st as opposed to being an individual soldier. It does a pretty good job of selling the feeling of being in a Star Wars battle, even if you have to kind of stretch your suspension of disbelief a little bit. There's a bit of jank in there that makes the illusion kind of a little broken. You have to kind of look past some things.
Damn, that was weird looking. Doesn't seem like it. Oh, I killed Obi-Wan Kenobi.
There were a couple particular low points. Probably the biggest one is on the Death Star level, which was somewhere in the middle of the game. The level's, I guess, fine, but at one point I was supposed to get to this final objective, and I got actually a little lost in the level. I don't know, maybe that was just a moment of stupidity on my part. Maybe I'm just like a Dark Side Phil clone, but I genuinely was like not sure of what to do. I was really kind of frustrated about that. So I figured I'd look to my comrades for guidance.
Okay, follow these guys. Never mind. They are running off into the pit. Is there supposed to be a bridge here that I'm not seeing?
So yeah, barring a few moments of jank and like some weird corners that were cut and whatever, I'm sure if the developers had the chance, they would have ironed all of this shit out. I would absolutely recommend this game. I think it's still very fun. I haven't played any of the other Battlefront games. I'm sure those are okay as well, but I really do like this one. I thought it was very charming seeing Star Wars in a more PS2 lower poly style. I played this one all the way through to the end. I enjoyed pretty much every level. There was no like level that I thought was like so shit or whatever, but I don't know. I thought it was pretty cool.
What are you doing?
Why is that right in my ears? Imagine if fucking Darth Vader just did this shit in Star Wars. Oh fuck. Darth Vader got blown up. What do I do now? Oh. I win. Harry wins.
Alright, so basically for the next section of this video, I'm going to be talking about the small stack of Harry Potter games we have. My sisters accumulated these games as the movies were actually coming out. I think they started with the third Harry Potter game, and then they went linearly until the fifth one, and then I think a few years later my sister got Chamber of Secrets for fun, because she just saw it at a game store and just thought it'd be fun to try it out. I think we had the PC version of it, and that's the version that we always played, but now we have the PS2 version. That's the version I'm going to play right now.
Harry Potter PS2. I'm like, hey, what's up? Hello. White people be like, I'm gonna fucking skin you alive. Oh shit. You're shitting me. I'm gonna fall through every single one of these fucking things. Oh, quite laggy when you turn on Lumos. Damn it!
Going to this game, I was actually pleasantly surprised by it, and I was actually so charmed by it that I ended up completing it. I think it's just the overall art style and vibes of it just felt so pleasant, especially when you're kind of in Diagon Alley in the beginning and you're running around. I feel like that whole area is just so pleasant to look at. It has this really pleasant, like cartoonish fantasy art style, which I was very enamored with. I found the environments really pleasant to look at.
It's like kind of expressionist, you know? It's like fantastical expressionism. It's like a Tim Burton kind of thing.
Once you're done with the intro, they kind of just give you Hogwarts Castle to run around and explore, and I found that very enjoyable. It's pretty fun, like running around and exploring this environment that you've only ever seen on the screen or imagined in a book.
Fucking curse you. Fucking piss Hagrid off, he rips me in half.
Lions have lovely heads. They look like potatoes with legs.
His fucking face.
Get out!
Oh my god, that was creepy. It was in her head. Oh my god, that's a nightmare. Oh.
It's kind of like Zelda, but if it was kind of remixed to, of course, fit the Harry Potter license more. So instead of a big Hyrule overworld, you get Hogwarts Castle, and you're introduced to dungeons as you encounter different set pieces and go to different Hogwarts classes. It's actually pretty weird. You go to a Hogwarts class, and then the teacher tells you to step through a hole in the wall, and then you end up in a dungeon where you're supposed to get the spell that you're learning for the class. It was also extra fun. They added these like secret passageways around the castle. There's one that you can take right outside the Gryffindor common room that you can actually use to skip a stealth section, which I'll get into the stealth sections. Okay, so this game has some stealth sections scattered throughout it. So basically the game has kind of a simple day-night system. At nighttime though, you have to sneak around the castle and avoid these prefects who are watching out for kids sneaking around at night. Because if you don't know Harry Potter, you're not supposed to do that in Hogwarts. So Harry often has to sneak around if he wants to get information or whatever. I had very little fun with the stealth in this game. I just never felt confident with it, and it's a strangely big part of the game, but it's like really not fun to do. It's just, I don't think there was a single one that I did where I was like, that was a fun part of the game to play.
Shit. Fuck. Oh shit, they're outside too. Damn it. Fuck you. Ugh. You fucking kidding me? Dude, fuck this game.
Another annoying thing, these ghost enemies can burn in hell.
Jesus. Oh, I go. Okay, I get my fucking beans kicked out of my
Here's a fun little annoying story. So at one point in the game, you're in a dungeon and you learn the fire spell. In the same room, you have to solve this puzzle where you light 4 torches at once, and then that opens a door that lets you leave the room. Even after you've lit all 4 of them, they don't stay lit like in Zelda. By the time you've lit the 4th torch, the first torch you lit is already going out. After you light all 4, you have 2 seconds to run to that door and get through. I spent so long doing that puzzle. I don't know why they added a puzzle that was so hard right after you get this item. The worst part is that after I eventually solved it, I was like, oh, thank God that's over. And then in the room afterwards, I was solving a puzzle and I accidentally killed Harry, which sent me back to an earlier room before I got the spell, and I couldn't go back. I had to go through the fucking torch room again and solve it again. Oh my God, that had my fucking capillaries busting out my arms. I was so mad. There's a couple small details in this game that I felt were worth highlighting. I don't know. Throughout the game, I noticed that there was a trail of spiders leading out to the Forbidden Forest, which I thought was very cool because it's obviously a little bit of foreshadowing in the movie. There was also this one bit where I was traveling through one of the secret passageways and I just spontaneously heard the voice of the basilisk whispering to me during gameplay, which I thought was a very, very cool detail. I'm probably going to say this for all the Harry Potter games, but if you really like Harry Potter, sure, I would recommend this game. If you're not really into Harry Potter, I don't know, just go play a Zelda game or something. It really wasn't bad. It wasn't amazing, but it wasn't bad. It was pretty cool. But yeah, let's move on to the next game. Harry Potter and the Prisoner of Azkaban.
I'm Ron dragging Harry away. What happens if I just don't? What if I drag him towards him? Wrong way. What if I just let him get taken? Harry's soul is being sucked in there. Harry loses his soul. Ron's like, whatever. You can have him, I don't care.
So this game is pretty much a direct sequel to the Chamber of Secrets game. I think it's by the exact same team. They seem to have basically the same controls and engine or whatever. It's very similar. It just feels like they kind of took the last game and of course iterated on it, extruded with it. And this is an important distinction to make because the Harry Potter games after this that I'm going to talk about are quite a bit different from this formula. So this game, it seems like a much more refined version of the Chamber of Secrets, which I thought was really cool.
Me when I try LSD.
We've got the fence against the dark arts class. Hurry up. I'm on my way.
Overall, it looks quite a bit higher poly. I was actually kind of impressed. It kind of just felt like almost a direct upgrade. The animations were also way better. Like the characters were way more expressive, and I found that very enjoyable. I thought the game looked pretty good. I didn't get super terribly far in this game. I only beat I think it's 2 dungeons or whatever, but I did quite enjoy what I played. I think in retrospect, I might have preferred to beat this game over Chamber of Secrets because it does seem a little bit better.
Ooh, it actually hits my head. Big fucking dome.
The dungeons seem quite a bit more inspired and complex, at least in terms of the actual puzzles. Like you had these mirror reflecting puzzles and you had these ice lava puzzles or whatever. I don't know. I think the biggest change that I really liked about this game is that Harry is now accompanied by Ron and Hermione, his companions, and you can switch between each of them to solve puzzles and shit, which I thought was really cool. In the last game, in Chamber of Secrets, you just played as Harry the whole time, and it was really weird because you basically just do everything by yourself. Your friends aren't really involved in your stuff. It's cool to have these kind of protagonists for this game that you can switch between, and they all have kind of different abilities. I feel like there's a lot of potential in the idea of having 3 characters you can switch between for puzzles too.
It's a shitty secret passage. That's shit. There's literally a frame around it. Anyone could find that. If I just jump to the lava, does Hermione just fucking... Oh. Oh, Hermione, you're stuck in it. And my friends are fucking shooting me. God! Get the fuck out of the way, you dumb prick.
Here's a funny story, not necessarily pertaining to this game. For the first few years of us owning the PlayStation 2, apparently for whatever reason we didn't have a memory card for the console. I have no idea how we got a console without a memory card. I don't know if some just didn't come with it or if my parents got it secondhand and they just didn't get a memory card. I don't know how the hell we didn't get a memory card with our console, but the result of that is that my older sisters couldn't save their games when they played them. So they would end up replaying the beginnings of games a bunch of times because they literally just couldn't save. They couldn't advance past a certain point in one session. And sometimes they would do the thing where they would leave the game on overnight or whatever, just so they can pick back up where they left off. But often in case the power would go out, or I think at one point we had the console in our basement. In our basement, the way the electricity worked is that all the outlets were connected to the light switch in the room. So whenever somebody walked in and just turned the lights off, it would also turn the console off, and my siblings would lose all their progress in their game. So it was just a weird, funny thing that happened. My sister ended up playing, I think she said specifically this game, she would play the beginning of it so many times. Would I recommend this game? I don't think I played this game long enough to properly recommend it, but I think I would be okay with going back and completing this game down the road. It seemed pretty cool. Okay, Harry Potter and the Goblet of Fire. As you can see, the cover of this one is now using basically the poster from the movie instead of just original artwork, and I think that kind of symbolizes a shift in the direction of the Harry Potter games, because this one is completely different from the last 2. Let's just check it out, okay? So it's like this weird co-op run and gun sort of setup where you just run around and shoot enemies with spells and use spells in unison to get rid of obstacles in your way. I don't know. I genuinely have zero recollection of this game from when I was a kid. I guess my siblings just rarely played it and it was so forgettable that even if I did watch it, I completely forgot about it. This game I was not into. I really did not care to play very much of it. It's just whatever, fuck it.
What? I'm dead. to put out the fires. Okay, Ron just levitated for a second.
It's just such an uncompelling way to adapt Harry Potter into an interactive medium. The prior two games weren't perfectly accurate to the source material, but they captured kind of the mood of Harry Potter better. In this game, it kind of portrays Harry Potter as if it were some sort of action movie, which most of them are not. Most of them are more about world building and mysteries and stuff like that. No, these movies are really not action enough to warrant being a fucking run and gun beat 'em up piece of shit game. It's not a piece of shit, but I will say the little cinematics between levels were pretty cool. They were like stylized. They looked really striking, and I quite like the style. I would watch a movie that looks like this personally. And that's literally all I have to say about this game. Genuinely, like I don't give a shit.
Dude, I'm done with this. Is boring. This is such a boring game. I'm not playing anymore.
Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. This game, let's play it. Okay, so I have a story or two to tell about my experience playing this particular game. Let's just start out from the beginning with some weird stuff that I noticed before things got a little weird, okay? So to cast magic in this game, you do so by flicking the stick on the controller, the right stick, in certain ways, a la skate. It's supposed to sort of emulate the arm movements that characters do when they make spells, which feels like a cool idea and feels like it's more accurate to the source material, but on screen it looks dumb as hell. Look at this shit.
You just move his arm with his weird fucking noodle arm.
One of the first things you do in this game as you acclimate yourself to the controls is you quote-unquote clean a room. But for some reason, your character's method of cleaning the room is by force pushing all the furniture against the wall, which I don't understand how it's considered cleaning.
This is stupid. Why the fuck are we just picking it up and moving it?
That might stop Mum moaning for 5 minutes.
No, we fucked the room up. We ruined it.
And this all seems weird, maybe a bit banal, but it's a pretty innocuous way to start the game, and I was going in with, I guess, an open mind. But after some cutscenes, you find yourself in Hogwarts, which is when the game really takes form.
Good. You passed my prefect test. Now move it.
Whoa, Ron. Harry walks like he just got out of fucking bed.
You get to freely explore Hogwarts like in the first two games I talk about, but this game takes a even less action-oriented approach than those first two games. You know, I ragged on the Goblet of Fire game for being a run-and-gun action game, but this game basically goes in the complete reverse direction and seems to be designed to be the most boring, mundane, monotonous interpretation of Harry Potter possible. The whole game is just about running around, talking to people, and solving fetch quests. Every gameplay event is always some variant of, you need to go somewhere to do X task, but first you have to talk to this person and do something for them. I'd say it's going for more of like a point-and-click adventure game sort of vibe, but there's no puzzles or actual challenges to it. It's literally just go here and do this task and then come back and then I'll give you a reward or something. That's it. It's actually insane how little they respect your time in this game. At one point we enter the library and the characters see a book on top of a bookshelf and say, "That's the book we need." You pick up a table using magic, move it next to the correct bookshelf, then climb up the table to grab the book on top of the bookshelf. Then the book flies away to another bookshelf. So you gotta get off, move the table again, climb up, and it flies away again. Move the table, climb up, it flies away. Once you actually do grab the book, your character's like, "Oh shit, this is the wrong book." I almost wanted to play through this whole game just to see if it was all like this. I found this game so baffling, it was almost hilarious. It felt like a parody of a video game, like it was intentionally just fucking around with me, trying to make me do tedious tasks to fuck with me.
See? I told you.
Oh.
Hermione. Go on, Umbridge made Harry do.
What was that?
I have to admit that this version of Hogwarts is probably the most convincing version of Hogwarts I've seen in a game yet. It's way more detailed and animated than the previous games, especially like the grand staircase room. The whole game and its art style is basically just a low fidelity version of the movie's visual style, to the point where the characters are literally just PS2 versions of the actors from the movies. It's pretty bizarre when you zoom in on the models during cutscenes and you can see how plasticky and weird they are. It kind of feels like a creepy fever dream during cutscenes, but when you're in gameplay and you're playing on a CRT and everything kind of zooms out and gets all impressionistic, it looks very convincing, and I think it's pretty appealing to look at. I mean, usually people don't like low poly realism because it doesn't look real, it just ages in a weird way, but I think at least this game looks pretty appealing. While I definitely prefer the cartoony styles of the first two games I talked about, Chamber and Prisoner, I think they did a pretty good job with this game's more realistic style, and I'm kind of amazed that it's even running on a PS2 at all. Unfortunately, this game got to a point where I just had to stop because it was so droll. I could genuinely feel my life slipping away from me. I could feel my mortal days dwindling as I wasted away playing this fucking Harry Potter game. The part where I just had to stop was this leg of the game where Harry decides to assemble Dumbledore's army, which, if you don't know Harry Potter, is basically a secret club he forms to teach other students defensive magic because they're not allowed to learn it in school during this book. I might be misremembering, but I think in the movie and like the books, Harry just kind of gets the idea for Dumbledore's army, and then in the next scene, all the members are just assembled. Like, we're not shown the stories of how everyone got recruited into the club because that would be boring and fucking kill the pacing of the story. I say this because in the game, you're given a list of like 20 names, and you have to go to each person individually and recruit them, which sounds boring because it is, but then mostly every one of those people has a special request that they want you to do before they'll join the club. So it's like, sure, I'll join the club, but first, can you help me burn a bunch of plants? Can you steal some potions from this one room? Can you find a secret passageway for me? Run all around Hogwarts and find a bunch of plants for me. Can you talk to some gargoyles for me? Help me feed some horses. You want to get through this painting? Find another painting with 3 heads and talk to them, then you can go through this painting. You want to get through this painting? Find another painting that can bring them some food. Help us load some boxes onto a boat. Just the most menial chores that I don't understand how it's supposed to be fun. Probably the worst bit is whenever you recruit Cho Chang. So she's in the Owlery Tower and she needs you to grab a package from an owl. Commence another section where you repeatedly walk up to the owl, and as soon as you get close, it flies away. Slowly sidle on a wall over to the owl, it flies away. Now sidle back. You chase this dumbass owl all the way up the tower for what feels like 10 minutes. It genuinely felt like a satire or something, like one of those indie games that intentionally tries to mess with you by being tedious and getting under your skin. But this is an official Harry Potter licensed product from 2007. I just couldn't believe what I was playing. The absolute breaking point when I just couldn't continue, it was when I went back to the library and this asshole asked me to help him do his homework.
Alright, let's find this fucking book.
That's the book Zacharias wants.
Let's get to Zacharias. Here. Now, the DA meeting. No way. I'm still knee-deep in work.
Yes, but you did say...
Get me some Wiggenweld potion from the hospital wing, and then...
I'm gonna fucking kill you. I'm gonna fucking kick your ass.
Last Harry Potter game, Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince. I honestly don't have that much to say about it, so let's get it over with. So this game had me worried at first when I realized it was basically a direct sequel to the last game. In fact, I think I actually have a clip from when it asks me to clean up some cauldrons and the realization dawns on me.
Mum wants to get rid of these cauldrons Fred and George left in the garage. I'll give you a hand.
Oh god. This is a sequel to the other game.
Which, by the way, was a weird scene because quote-unquote cleaning the cauldrons means picking them up and throwing them into a pond which felt like it was causing pollution and not in fact cleaning them. That's kind of weird, but whatever. To the game's credit, from what little I played, it does seem like the team probably took some feedback they must have gotten from the last game and edited this one down so it's not hours of literal fetch quests. It was basically just linearly going from one actual activity to the next, like actual mini games and stuff, not just running around and interacting with things. It's not like the best thing ever or anything, but it's definitely an improvement. I did find this game kind of charming, and it was also unintentionally funny to me, but never in an annoying way like the last game.
I just hit him while he's down. Not exactly the most fair fight. Just fucking assault my friend. Let's go 40-year-old man scaled down. Oh shit. Sorry, Harry, I gotta get this back in place. Wait, I'm gonna crash.
Probably the mine should be around here somewhere.
But by far the funniest thing, at least to me, is the way Harry runs in this game. So in this game you can hold down a run button to make Harry run faster, but he doesn't just run faster, he breaks into a full-on fucking sprint. He puts everything into it. He goes so fast the camera blurs and the game chugs. I don't know why it's so funny to me, but it is.
Ugh. I'm gonna fucking kill you.
Now, I didn't play very far in this game, but not because I didn't try. It's actually because the disc basically just gave out at this part where I was running like 30 miles per hour to go play Quidditch.
Uh-oh.
As you've been watching this video, you may or may not have noticed this blue and red glow in the bottom right corner of the screen. This is actually a reflection of my controller that I've been using. I don't know what the hell the brand is. It's a swan or something. The logo is a swan. This is one of those like third-party controllers that your family buys because the official Sony controllers are way too expensive, so you buy this kind because it's just a little bit cheaper. Funny story about this controller that my sister actually told me. Apparently a long time ago, this controller got like fully submerged in water somehow. Somebody fully dropped it into water and it basically died for several years. And then one day they plugged it in and it just suddenly worked, like with no explanation. And now in the current year, all of my other controllers don't work and this one does. So that's why I've been using it. At first I was kind of partial to the idea of just this reflection being in the screen, but I am kind of fond of it. So from now on, whenever you see this glow in like the bottom corner of the screen, you'll just know that that's literally a reflection of me holding this controller.
Woo, woo, woo.
These next few games are just a collection of various licensed games we had. I kind of just lumped them together. So the first game of this bunch is Narnia. This must be an old game that my sisters played way back when, but I have absolutely no memory of it, not even like a snapshot. It's actually made by the same studio that makes the Lego games, so I don't know, maybe it'll be good. Let's try it out.
Oh, there's two files. Interesting. Abort the load. Sure, I'll abort the load.
Right off the bat, something funny this game does is it'll sometimes use footage from the actual Narnia movie for the cutscenes, but when we start to approach a gameplay section, it'll do this weird crossfade into real-time rendered versions of the same thing.
Oh. Oh.
Shut up! You think you're dumb, but you're not!
That's the best part of the games that they do that.
Getting into the actual gameplay, it immediately occurred to me that this game is in fact just a Lego game with a weird realistic art style. I feel like the animations are, if not the same, at least done by the same people with the same kind of cartoony style. I see the characters doing their attack animations and feel very weird that they're being done by hyper-realistic British children and not Lego characters. This game also reuses some of like the gameplay tropes from the Lego games, like the mechanic where where small children can crawl through small doors to get into high up places. Yeah, I don't know if this game necessarily adapted Narnia in the most appropriate way. It's been a while since I've seen the movie, but I don't remember the kids picking each other up and literally using each other as weapons, and I definitely don't remember the kids fighting off packs of wolves. There's also a bit where they approach the front gate of this fortress of like dwarf people, and they absolutely just bust the gate down and they charge in and actually start killing all of these people for no reason. The kids are absolutely the aggressors. They run in and actually kill these people.
Am I gonna shoot these guys with a bow and arrow now? We're literally just killing people. Did they really just kill people in the movie?
The game seems fine. It looks pretty good. It runs very well. If you like Lego games, you might like this actually. If you like Lego games and Narnia, this might be your thing. You might want to try it out sometime. I'm bored out of my fucking mind. I'm turning it off. Now we're gonna look at Eragon. I literally have never seen Eragon. I've never read it. I don't know shit about it. It's about a small boy who finds a dragon named Eragon or some shit. I don't know. So this game is basically a locked camera beat 'em up sort of thing. It honestly seems fine. I found the visuals to be pretty appealing with some nice compositions. Maybe I'll put a clip in here. The combat was alright too. It wasn't super deep or the most engaging thing ever, but there were some very satisfying animations. Like, it felt very good to lay motherfuckers out. There were some annoying bits like this part where I thought I hit a dead end and didn't know how to progress until I found the intended path on accident.
Fuck shit do I do? Really?
I feel like that probably would have filtered me when I was a kid. Aside from that sort of shit, the whole thing seems pretty well made, just kind of generic is all. Maybe it'd be a fun game to play through over like a weekend if you're a kid, especially if you're actually into Eragon, but I don't know, I think I've seen enough. I didn't play very far. Maybe the game gets like pants-shittingly good at some point, but I kind of doubt it and I have more stuff to play. A series of unfortunate events. I actually remember reading all of the books in this series sometime before middle school, but I never saw the movie, and I sure as shit never played this game. I've never seen this game in my life. I've never seen the box, I've never seen the game played. Has this been in my house the whole time? Guys, I'm gonna keep it $1.50. I have nothing interesting to say about this video game. It's a lame ass movie tie-in. It looks bland, it plays bland. The first 30 minutes is just solving brain-dead puzzles and killing rats, which is the most generic nothing thing you can make a player do to start out a game.
No, this house is overrun.
Oh my god. I don't give a freaking fuck with these damn rats.
Of the rodent matter was sufficient enough that I'll allow you to clear out the spiders as well.
I'm gonna fucking kill you.
The lighting is dark and drab, the environments are stupid, the characters are stupid, Count Olaf looks fucking gay, and they programmed it so the baby flies up the tube. Why would they do that? This is seriously an unfortunate game.
I feel dead inside when I play this. I don't know why this game makes me so mad. There's something about it just pisses me off. I can't do this. I was hoping it would fucking crash so I wouldn't have to play it anymore.
It's gonna get worse before it gets better.
I can't do this. I'm done. I'm just fucking... can't fucking do this.
Jimmy Neutron Attack of the Twinks is a tie-in with the show Jimmy Neutron. I got this game from my friend when I was a teenager. I don't know why. I didn't like Jimmy Neutron, and I've literally never played it. And honestly, I think I might throw it away after I'm done with this. Sorry, Eddie, if you're watching this. I'm throwing away your game, and you'll never get it back. To avoid repeating myself, it's another low-tier tie-in game. It doesn't even matter what my opinion is because there's a 0% chance that you're gonna go play it after this. The truth is that it doesn't matter what I say because this game doesn't matter. It's nothing. This was all for nothing.
Dude, I feel like I really fucking am Jimmy Neutron right now.
I didn't even get very far in this game because the disc was once again scuffed. This time, it was scuffed in a particular way that made the experience especially frustrating. So the first symptom is that the cutscenes in this game would repeatedly freeze and restart, which makes them last like twice as long as they would otherwise.
Looks a little unstable, but I can't wait to see what science...
Getting into gameplay, it's actually completely playable, but whenever you interact with anything in the game, it can take as much as 10 seconds to register your input, and when you enter dialogue, the game will take an excruciating amount of time to load each and every line.
I really feel like a fucking genius when I play this game. What are you... So the game's running fine, but it's just not loading this dialogue or whatever, yeah.
I'm over here, Jimmy. Sometimes you may rest the
No one got it.
button to do this. Go ahead and try, Jimmy.
Let me out. I don't want to fucking talk to this thing anymore.
Jimmy?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Wow, sometimes I even amaze myself. Ah, home sweet home. Where would a genius be
This is like torture. This is fucking like torture.
without his lab?
So, you wanna come to the pet store
Pain. Pain.
and hold the animals up while I snap?
Pain.
I only ever beat the tutorial level on this game because when I got to the second level, it just wouldn't load.
Jimmy Neutron in blast off.
And thank God for that, because I was getting real fucking sick of this genius kid's fucking giant brilliant brain in my fucking screen. Ice Age 2 for PS2. This is another one of those games that I actually do remember from when I was very young. I have just a couple snapshot memories of this game that I still have to this very day in my adulthood. It's very strange how the most banal memories of childhood can somehow stick with you forever. Let's play the game.
This shit is random as fuck.
So it's another tie-in platformer game, yada yada, fucking whatever. You play as the crazy, funny squirrel and eat nuts. While I wouldn't say that this game is anything special or that particularly interested me, I gotta admit that it does look pretty damn good. The environments are pretty appealing. This underwater section is the most beautiful thing I've seen in my entire life, and the character models and animations are fantastic. Very true and on model with the movie. Like, the locomotion of this squirrel is very satisfying to control. I think they like nailed the aesthetic of the movie here, honestly.
Dude, no way this fucking thing existed. Are you shitting me? Fuck off. That pisses me off. Polar bears. Oh. Hey. Dude, fuck you. If that thing existed, fuck you. Genuinely, fuck that. Stupid as fuck. Glad it died.
I called one of my older sisters to talk about this whole video idea and try and get kind of the lore on a lot of these old games. And when we talked about this game, my sister told me that there was a bowling mini game that I should look forward to, but I never got to see it, unfortunately. Despite the fact that this game worked more or less perfectly for the entirety of my playtime, the disc must be scratched too, because I walked up to this guy and he held out a big golden nut. And then the game faded to black and never worked again. So, I guess that's this game done. Time to play Thrillville. This is another game that I have just some snapshot memories of from when I was little. I know it's a fully 3D theme park management simulator, which isn't normally my thing, but it's on the stack, so I'm gonna play it.
Whoa. Okay, that's enough screwing around for one video.
So it's a park management sim like Roller Coaster Tycoon, but it's 3D and you actually interface using a third-person view of an avatar instead of having an omniscient point-and-click interface like Roller Coaster Tycoon. This makes sense for a console game because point-and-click controls don't work very well when you don't have a mouse. And it also lets you walk around your park and experience the atmosphere and the scale of it in a more immersive way, which I think is kind of cool. Also, having an avatar means you can also walk up to guests and have dialogue with them. It's an unusual mechanic for a theme park game like this, isn't it? You usually don't talk directly to your guests or whatever. And in practice, it's weird, but I found it very entertaining. So each guest has a meter that shows how much they like you, and your tactic of filling that meter is stopping them and telling them obscure fun facts and seeing how they react.
Fruits and vegetables are fun to eat and cook with.
My dad says that a watermelon is actually a berry.
Okay.
That's a big berry.
Suspicious dolphins?
Dolphins sleep with one eye open.
I got over dolphins like 5 years ago.
You're an asshole.
They just like some facts and dislike others, and whether or not they like or dislike it determines whether or not their bar goes up and down, and it's basically impossible to predict which they'll like and which they won't. Sometimes you tell someone the wrong fun fact and they just stop being friends with you.
You like
The
soccer?
first recorded
Soccer?
game of soccer was in 217 AD.
That proves it. Soccer is old.
Not friends anymore. Not friends. Vanishing
There are
bones.
300 bones in a human child's body, but only 206 in that of an adult.
That's sweet, bro.
Now we're friends again.
The interface is also very vague about what you're going to say with each choice. It's just one-word prompts on the top of the screen with an icon. So sometimes you pick something and your avatar says something that you do not expect them to.
Ugly?
You're ugly, but you intrigue me.
Finally, someone who cares about more than looks.
This dialogue system is so crudely made and inhuman that it actually comes around to being pretty enjoyable to mess with, if only to laugh at.
With that smile, you must have had years of orthodontia.
Okay, that was kind of uncool.
Why?
Without a doubt, Anakin Skywalker is the coolest character in Star Wars.
You are one sad individual.
Like sushi?
Eating sushi has helped me realize that my dad's not totally crazy. So that's kind of cool.
How do...
What great, sensible shoes. Good for you for not caring about fashion.
That's... She's not gonna like that. You're an asshole.
What you just said means nothing to me.
But there is some genuinely funny and charming stuff in here too.
The sports
Ideas.
stars of the Roman Empire were its gladiators. There were both female and male participants in this gory sport.
Human nature saddens me, man.
But yeah, focusing more on the actual park management part of the game, something cool is that you can build your own rides manually and then ride them in first person. You can ride every ride and play every minigame in the park. There's a ton of minigames. So I thought that was very cool. There's a very wide selection of little games in here. I talked earlier about how some games are perfect snow day games, but I think this game is a perfect summer vacation game somehow. I think it's the amusement park setting, which reminds me of going to amusement parks as a kid, and the weird ballooned out graphics.
It has a very strange look to it. It's very like fogged over. Yeah, it looks like there's a layer of like grease over this one. I don't know, it's just because of balloon lighting and everything, I guess. Whoa, you can see the void.
The whole environment just looks so humid. It so clearly harkens me back to whenever my family would go to an amusement park and it would just be fucking scorching hot and everyone was just exhausted and dehydrated the whole time. It's the sort of game you play when it's 90 degrees out and you're inside with no air conditioning and the blinds down and your family went to the pool but you stayed home because you like video games too much and you haven't properly talked to your dad in like 6 weeks and your sister forgot your name and you have a vitamin D deficiency. You have no money, no future, no job, nobody you love, only Thrillville. Persona 3 FES. I don't know what FES is supposed to mean, but I have Persona 3. This is actually my brother's game. He's really into Persona. He's beaten like 4 and 5, so I think maybe a year or two ago he bought the third game for the PS2 and he just played the whole thing on the PS2. I've never played any of these games before, but I've always thought they looked really cool, so here's my chance to try one out. So I'll clarify immediately that I only played the first few hours of this game. I really liked what I played of it, but I'm not really in a place to sink a lot of time into an RPG. You know, I've been making this video. When I saw my brother's old save file with 100+ hours, I knew I couldn't commit to it. But I can see myself getting addicted to this game and happily playing all of it. The gameplay loop seems like this masterfully crafted thing. It's just this loop of the visual novel, conventional storytelling side of Persona, and then you transition into the like dungeon crawling RPG section of the game, and you're constantly kind of rotating between the two parts, so you get a little bit of visual novel and then you go play some of the RPG part. And it seems like the whole thing has kind of a good sense of pacing to it, like you never get tired of either one because you're never like playing either one for too terribly long. You're not getting bored of it. I can see that being a loop that I very willingly participate in for over 100 hours. If I had the time, I would totally do it. I don't know when the phone is up recording. That's a huge bed. It's a huge bed. It's like for 5 people. Ugh, girls.
They say you're in distress.
Yeah, right. It has to be them.
Oh. The world of this game seems really cool. It's kind of edgy, psychological, surreal, paranormal type of thing. The titular personas seem like a really cool concept. I think they're basically this game's version of like summons that you can use during battles. In the world, they're meant to be manifestations of your character's sense of self. It's like some Carl Jung meets Scooby-Doo type shit. It seems like the ground is fertile for some mechanically communicated themes about coming of age and identity, what with the forging of personas through social links. I also love like just the art style, the flashy graphic design, both things the Persona series is known for and which this game has in droves. The game especially reminds me of one of those like late 90s young adult animes about how fucked modern society is. I'm not gonna lie, it kind of reminds me of Lane, but that's from a very surface level observation of it. The music, genuinely some godlike shit. As I said, I only played this game for 2 hours and I found like 4 new favorite songs in that time. What the hell were they feeding these composers while they made this shit? It's crazy. It's so good. Maybe if I had found this game when I was like a teenager or something, I probably would have binged the whole thing in like a fucking week. I feel like this would just be the perfect game to play all night. Just staying up and getting immersed in this game's addictive loop and its rich dreamlike world. I feel like it'd just be the perfect thing to just sit up all night playing. Alright, so these next few games are actually some superhero games I have. Let's see if they're epic. Superman Returns. I don't know when exactly we got this game. I guess it might have been around when the Superman Returns movie came out, but more likely we got it in a bargain bin years later. I've never seen the movie. I know Kevin Spacey's in it, so I'm sure it's a real winner. I remember as a kid I tried playing this and my siblings and I couldn't even beat the first level. Then as a teenager we played it and we beat the first level, but then we couldn't beat the second level. So maybe this time I'll beat the third level and then I'll quit. Let's see. Okay, so that first level is a tutorial. Basically, there are meteors falling from the sky and Superman has to destroy them all before they hit the city of Metropolis. If I remember correctly, when we first played this as kids, we somehow missed the part where the game told us that we could lock on to targets, such as the meteors falling from the sky, so we just tried manually aiming for them with the crosshair using the control stick, and when that inevitably didn't work very well because it's unrealistically hard, the meteors crashed into the city, destroyed it, and Superman put his head in his hands and cried, and we turned the game off. Years later we came back and beat that level, only to be met with the bullshit second level. So basically, Superman leaves Earth and gets inducted into some alien space tournament. There's a really funny cutscene where he tries to escape the tournament and fucking crashes into the ceiling.
I'm not playing your ridiculous game.
And I see why we got stuck again, because this level is bullshit hard even now. You have to very jankily fight multiple opponents under this favored gladiator system, which I don't get how it works because you can clearly see me violently chokeslamming this guy and the meter doesn't move at all in my favor, so what the hell?
Shittiest superhero ever. Gonna fucking cry, asshole.
And to make things worse, you have to fight 3 opponents consecutively in one life, so if you die, you have to restart from the first opponent, which is very frustrating.
Yeah, that was really fucking fair. I can fucking dodge that.
The combat is not very fun. It's clunky and lame. Most of the animations are dull, for lack of a better word, in that they feel stiff and ineffective. They don't impress upon me the illusion that my attacks are actually connecting to my enemies and properly affecting them. Here's a particularly bad example. I attack a guy and Superman's fist clearly doesn't connect to him, but he takes damage anyways. It's that kind of jank where it just doesn't all fit together. The only move I actually like is that chokeslam move I mentioned, because the sound, animation, and camera movement come together to actually make it feel satisfying to do. I also feel like I miss half my moves, which is really annoying. Superman will just fucking charge forward, but then he'll stop like a few feet away from the target and punch them midair like a dumbass. Also, Superman will get knocked on his ass by anything. Jesus Christ, man. Genuinely, I was getting so embarrassingly mad at this level that I just don't even want to show you the clips with audio. And then after defeating the final gladiator, Superman just shoots a laser at the ceiling he crashed into earlier and leaves. So why didn't he just do that sooner? Was he just trying to make me lol? Okay, so level 3, Superman goes back to Earth. I'm gonna assume that the rest of the game takes place here and make some sweeping judgments. The game looks alright for what it is. The actual graphics are low quality, which is fine, but it runs badly. The city is so low detail that it absolutely does not give the illusion of being a real city. I mean, just flying around this city, you can see how illogically constructed it is. It's just a mess of buildings that are arranged in no particular sensical order.
Roleplay like I'm an imaginary, a normal citizen. Go through this alleyway. There's just a big wall here, and then up there is just more city. Like the city's layered, like it's fucking Dark Souls or some shit.
That being said, I do find that charming in its own way, you know? I like how unreal it feels. Like it's one of those games where if you just stop and look around, you're like, wow, this feels very weird, and it's pretty charming. There's also, the city is cordoned off into separate boroughs or whatever, and depending on where you are in the city, the color grading of the game slightly changes. And there's this one section you fly to called Suicide Slum. When you go there, the color grading like turns red, and it's like really weird. Why is there a place in Metropolis called Suicide Slum? Is this what it's officially called? If I'll be honest, at this point I'm gonna admit that I'm very down on this game. I didn't like it that much, and I didn't play it for very long. But there is a lot to like here. There's some emphasis put on like physics. Generally, if something isn't bolted to the ground, you can pick it up and throw it wherever you want, which I think is very fun and cool.
Don't worry, citizens, I'll save you.
Something they really nailed with this game are the flying controls of Superman, especially when you're kind of speeding around between missions. The animations, the motion blur, the sounds, they're all amazing, and it uses controller rumble to add even more to the game feel, if I can use that term. You can really feel the power that Superman is exuding as he zooms to the sky. It's so convincing and so well done. Something else I really enjoyed about this game was how it lets you be a menace. So basically in this game, you're supposed to be Superman and protect the city of Metropolis, but that doesn't mean you can't purposely damage the city yourself by crashing into buildings or murdering people with your lasers or picking them up and slamming them into walls, or abducting them, taking them to the other side of the city and leaving them on top of a skyscraper.
Out of my fucking way! Am I supposed to help that guy somehow? Well, just put him out of his misery. Don't worry, buddy. Just gonna. Oh! Where's the ambulance? Oh. Okay, Superman, be careful. There's a lady right there.
The thing that really killed this game for me, though, was the story progression. So when you're back on Earth after the last mission, you meet a villain called Metallo, and I swear for the next hour I was just fighting him and his minions over and over again. Every mission is the same. You follow an icon to one batch of enemies, kill them all, and then you follow another icon to somewhere else in the city and kill another batch of enemies, and repeat until the level arbitrarily ends. And then you start the next one, and it's the exact same thing. Same robots, same enemies, whatever. And if you die, you have to start the whole level over again. So I spent so long just fighting robots over and over until I finally beat the correct amount of levels. Then the game cuts to Lex Luthor doing some shit. And at this point, I thought the plot of the game was actually advancing and shit would change, but then the cutscene ends and it gives me another robot fighting mission.
Robots Roundup.
So I think it's safe to assume that this is all just padding. I don't know for sure, but I assume the developers only had so much time to actually make content for this game before it had to release alongside the movie. So they just made what they could and stretched that out to make the game longer. And if that's all true, then it's a shame things worked out like that, because I really do think the bones of a great game are here. It's just that the actual content is seriously lacking.
What the fuck is Superman doing? Why is he flying up like that? The fuck? Is my controller messing up?
Here's Spider-Man Friend or Foe. So it's another game I got from my friend Eddie that I literally have never tried. I don't even know why I took this when he gave me it. To be honest, I've always just looked at this cover art and thought it looked dumb. So right before I played it, I actually talked to Eddie, and he said it was actually one of his favorite games on PS2, and that he would play it with his cousins whenever they were over, and that they would get really hype about it. It was their favorite game. If I knew this was a game he actually cared about, I probably wouldn't have taken it. Whatever, it's mine now. You know what? Playing this game, it ain't half bad. So it's a Spider-Man themed beat 'em up brawler thing. You can play as Spider-Man, I think like a bunch of other Spider-Man characters. It's just like pretty solid beat 'em up game. Like it's not really my thing, but I can appreciate the quality of this, you know? So I found the art style of this to be pretty appealing. I like the simple, like really comic booky, like animated looking characters. It's very easy to look at and it was clear. The animations are very nice, especially after playing Superman. They're super pronounced and clear and intuitive to play with. Stringing combos on motherfuckers comes so natural, it all blends together really well, and it feels so good. It sounds really good too, I like the sound effects. Just feels really good to fucking and I bet it's way more fun playing with friends. I can see why Eddie and his cousins got so hype about this game. It seems pretty fun. I know this game isn't like the most profound thing ever, it's just a Spider-Man beat 'em up game, but it is a very high quality product. I can see the effort and the passion for the craft behind this. Actually, fun fact, this is made by the same studio that would go on to make Punch-Out for the Wii and the Luigi's Mansion sequels. Yeah, you know, I guess I get why Eddie liked it so much. It's not really my thing, but it's pretty good. Spider-Man for PS2, of which I have 2 copies. One, I believe, used to belong to my cousin, I think he had it on PS2, and then his family gave their PS2 to my grandma, and then I probably stole it from my grandma. Sorry, grandma. Rest in peace. The other one I actually got off eBay by mistake. So I was trying to buy Spider-Man 2. One day I get the package, I open it up, and it's Spider-Man 1. So I messaged them, I was like, hey, you sent me Spider-Man 1 instead of Spider-Man 2. Do you want me to like send this back and then you can send me the right game? They're like, you know, you can just keep it. So that was really cool of them. They gave me a free game. I played it very briefly while I waited for Spider-Man 2 to come in. This one doesn't have the same cool web swinging mechanic that I got Spider-Man 2 for, so I wasn't very interested in it and I didn't play it for very long, but let's try it now. Okay, so I don't know why, but this was another game that just pissed me off. I think I was already in a weirdly shitty mood that day. I don't know why. I was just so ready to get mad. So the first level, Spider-Man's looking for the guy who killed Uncle Ben. So you have to run around and kill a bunch of gangsters until you find the one who knows where Uncle Ben is. So I was just swinging around looking on every single building. There's dozens of buildings in this level. You have to swing around and look at the tops of every single one to find the guys that you need to beat up. It just took forever to find them all, and it was so boring. The web swinging in this, as I've said, is mindless as opposed to its sequel. All you do is hold the swing button to go, and then you push up or down to ascend or descend. It was super boring and it took forever, and I was getting very frustrated by it because I was like, wow, is this the whole game gonna be like this? I don't know why. I was just so ready to be frustrated that day. I know I'm something of a Dark Side Phil clone, but this game seriously put my ass on Prozac. So I finally find the guy who knows where Uncle Ben's killer is, and I find his hideout. So I was already annoyed by how long the first level took me, and then I arrive in this level and it just looks ugly and drab, and it tries to have you do stealth. It's just, I don't care about avenging Uncle Ben. I really don't. And the controls were really getting on my nerves in this level. And I'm not going to go into the technical semantics of why they were annoying, but the directional movement becomes really disorienting whenever you move the camera. Peter doesn't always go where you want him to go, and it's really annoying when you mean to go one way and he just goes another. I don't really know how else to communicate that without having you actually play the game, which you shouldn't do. You shouldn't play this game. This game should probably be forgotten.
I hate the fucking controls. I'm done with this shit. Alright, I wish I had some fucking help. Dude, this game controls like shit. He turns around. Oh my god.
So I never beat the level. I guess Uncle Ben will never be avenged, and he'll burn in hell.
Fuck this game.
Okay, Spider-Man 2. Really excited to play this one after Spider-Man 1. This is the game that has the good web swinging mechanics. I remember it being very fun. I remember it being funny. It's not like the best game I've ever played in my life, but it is very fun, if only because the controls are so good. As I explained, I bought this when I was a teen, as I was getting into older games. Let's pop it. Oh. Ultimate Spider-Man. How did this get in here? Where's my copy of Spider-Man 2? Okay, well, maybe this will be fun. I think I've heard of this game. I've heard good things. Let's try it. It doesn't work. Okay, so this is the part where I talk about PS2 peripherals. Cheap, plastic, let's be real, junk toys made in low-wage factories, shipped overseas, and played with a handful of times before being forgotten about or disposed of entirely. Not to be cynical or anything. I just got done digging these dirty, seagull-choking knickknacks out of my family's closet, and now it's time to make some algorithm-pleasing content to make your life go by faster. Not being cynical. Let's start with the eyetoy. This is a camera peripheral that people often consider to be kind of like the proto Kinect. It's like a shitty USB webcam with a fisheye lens. The game that I assume came with the peripheral is eyetoy Play, which is a game that's always stuck around in my head. I remember as a very young kid finding it so novel to see myself on a TV screen and somehow interact with the game without touching anything. It might as well have been magic to me. I actually found some save data from way back when, which was crazy cool to unearth. It's like opening a time capsule. Let's play it. Okay, so this game is basically a collection of arcadey minigames using the eyetoy, of course. The first game is Beat Freak. It's a rhythm game where a song will play and you're supposed to wave your hands in the place of 4 speakers as little records fly into them, and you're supposed to kind of do it on beat. I'm not very good at rhythm games, as you'll see throughout the rest of this video, but this one was kind of fun. It actually felt like I was dancing, albeit in the most embarrassing way possible.
You can't see how much I put my hips into this. Jesus Christ.
Now that was cool. I knew you had rhythm. Come on, you need to get in time with the beat.
Kung Fu. It's a martial arts themed game where you move your body around to hit enemies on screen.
I remember this one. Oh yeah, bonus round. I will not comment on this game's potential racist undertones.
I guess this is as good a time as any to mention that the eyetoy isn't very smart, because it's just a camera that can detect motion. It can't differentiate between body parts or the subject's distance from the camera, or even whether the motion it's detecting was even produced by a human. So it's very easy to trick this thing and cheat the game. So if you want to feel like you're actually fighting enemies in this game, you'll have to meet the game halfway and play pretend a little bit, because it's just as easy to flail your arms around aimlessly and still become a martial arts pro. This game actually made me sweat a bit because I was moving around so much, but after some persistence, I eventually beat the master.
So easy for you next time.
If there's no chance it's a true master like you,
Got that right, babe?
Next game is called Wishy Washy. It's a game about squeegeeing windows with your body.
Keep hitting the chandelier in my room, a little chandelier.
Very simple and especially easy to break. So this was my natural setup as I played the game. I framed and positioned myself within this guideline the game gives you, and still I immediately kind of broke the game. So in this position, my arm length is long enough to where it falls out of frame, so all I have to do is spin my arms around once to wipe a whole window. And this isn't even me trying to break it. I'm sure there'd be nothing stopping you from standing even closer to the camera to make it even easier, or even just to wave your hand right in front of it.
But what if I just like... I can't not mention the song that plays on this level. It's the song When I'm Cleaning Windows by George Formby. In the several years since I first played this game, I never ever forgot this song or this mini game in general. I find the visuals very surreal. Especially this screen where the camera is like positioned in front of a fish tank. You can see this weird human-fish hybrid swim by. It actually seems to be like a fish version of the character you see on the title screen for this game. But in this scene, he's just a fish now, and that always kind of creeped me out. I never forgot that.
Something I never realized is when you actually listen to the lyrics on the Windows song, it's about a window cleaner who, while he sits outside and works on people's windows, he looks in and watches them have sex, which was a very interesting thing to discover, especially in an E-rated game. Before we move on to the next minigame, I gotta say how much I like the visuals of this game. I like the graphic and character designs in this actually quite a bit. The characters are so weirdly constructed but cool to me, especially this monkey with its weirdly shaped head. I find that very unique. Next game is Soccer Craze. It's basically a game where you bounce a soccer ball around the screen. I think you're supposed to use your head, but as we established, the game can't tell the difference if you use your hands, so I don't know, it's whatever.
Shit my ass. Not really into Soccer Craze. Not gonna finish that one. I don't give a fuck. Do I look like I give a fuck?
Boxing Chump. Okay, so this one didn't even work. As soon as I started the game, this seizure-inducing mess of polygons filled the screen. It's like 2001: A Space Odyssey. I'll try and show it in a way that doesn't put anybody in the hospital.
Oh, shit! I put my arms up like that and it worked for 1 second.
I have no idea what's causing this glitch. I'm guessing it's a disk scratch problem, but it's weird. I think it's the models on some of the objects just freaking out, like the vertices are going all over the place. I don't know. It's kind of scary to think that a photosensitive kid might have played a game like this and gotten this exact glitch. If it's really due to the disc being scratched like I think it is, then it's not like this could have been prevented by quality assurance or fixed after the fact. It's just a freak accident and nobody could really help or foresee, and it could potentially hurt some kid. I don't know.
30 punches? I got 30 punches in that fight. I had my hands like this. I was like leaning back and forth the whole time.
UFO Juggler. I don't even remember this one from when I was a kid. This one doesn't work either. The whole game just freezes on the loading screen, and that requires a console reset to get out of. Very annoying, and not the last time that'll happen. Next game is Slapstream. This one's basically just whack-a-mole. So you hit the rat men and you don't hit the sexy bunny girls. Kind of weird.
Greetings. Those dirty little rat men are after QT and Yumi again.
That sounds like Liam Neeson.
Give the rat man a slap.
Oh.
It's not much fun playing with you.
Plate spinner. Wave your hands to spin plates on rods. Make sure they're not going too fast or too slow or they'll fall. Also, asshole monkeys attack them. Disco Stars. Doesn't work. Mirror Time. Doesn't work. Rocket Rumble. Nope. Well, that sucks. I guess I'll never know what those games were. Let's go ahead and play some of the side content then.
Video messaging.
Yeah, there's quote-unquote video messaging in this, where you can record videos and add borders to them. I don't think you can actually send these videos using the internet or whatever, so I don't know why it's called messaging. Here's my message to you, viewer.
Hey, what's up, guys? It's me, Harold, aka Orangewall, here on YouTube, coming at you with another vlog. Yeah, today was pretty fucking crazy.
There's also a mode called Playroom where you can just mess around with visual effects.
It's all these and how to fucking freeze. Oh no.
Unfortunately, some of these froze the game too. But you know what, it's a fun toy. You know, this whole game is. I thoroughly enjoyed revisiting it. I kind of wish more of it worked, but thankfully all the stuff that I had fond memories of worked pretty much fine. Seriously, if I found out that I couldn't play that window washing game again, I probably would have barfed. Dance Dance Revolution Supernova. I've never been one for DDR. For starters, it was kind of before my time, but even still, I've always been bad at rhythm games, especially ones like this that require actual bodily movement to play. I think I remember trying this game once or twice as a kid and never again. I'm pretty excited to play it now though. I dug out my family's old plastic mat for it and everything. Okay, so before I talk about the game, I want to disclose that for the approximately 2 nights that I decided to record this particular game, the land of Ohio decided to suddenly be sweltering hot, and I don't have air conditioning in my house. As you can imagine, that heat plus the physical activity this game requires meant I was very sweaty for this. What's more is that as soon as I was done recording for this game, it cooled down again outside, so that was fun. Playing DDR in 2025, I couldn't play in any difficulty higher than beginner, which is the lowest one if you needed to know that. Everything above that is too fast and is too much to comprehend. I tried basic, which is one step above that, and I just couldn't do it.
Jesus Christ, how are you supposed to move your feet like this? I can't do this shit, Jesus Christ.
I guess I just need more practice.
What the fuck? What the fuck? The thing's fucking up. I'm not doing this. Oh shit.
Here's something cool. Apparently this game has a mode that uses the eyetoy. So along with using your legs to hit arrows, you also use your hands to try and wave them over the top corners of the screen, which actually works a little bit better than you would expect.
Oh shit.
I was curious about what it'd be like playing a song on challenge mode, which is the hardest difficulty, so I tried it out and it went about as well as you'd expect.
How the fuck is anyone supposed to do that shit?
I wasn't sure if I'd be able to show any of these clips with audio because of copyright, but I think I made so much noise from dancing with the sound of the plastic pad crunching and my floorboards squeaking that it probably doesn't even matter.
Dude, holy shit, I suck at this game. Come on, come on, no.
Despite the fact that I didn't really get into this one, I do genuinely think that DDR might be something that is actually genuinely rewarding and worth the time to get good at. I'll bet mastering an expert difficulty song would be really satisfying from a gamer standpoint. Plus you'd also be getting a lot of actual good exercise while doing it. I could see this game genuinely being like an extrinsically valuable health tool, so I don't know, that's pretty cool. Moving on, let's talk about SingStar 80s. I don't think I have any memories of this game from when I was young. I doubt I ever even played it. I probably thought it looked too girly or something like that. I don't know. So it's a decent karaoke game, I guess. I don't know. It seems pretty accurate. I don't think there were any bits where it felt like it was incorrectly registering my voice. I thought it worked pretty solidly well. I don't know. I don't know most of the songs on this because it's SingStar 80s, so most of the music is like 80s pop. I mean, I know the songs by ear, I've been in a McDonald's before, but I don't know the lyrics to most of them.
The cloud is moving near still. Borealis comes in view. You and I in a little toy shop. Buy a bag of... God. Set them free at the break of dawn. Till one by one they were gone. 99 red balloons go by.
That's not to say that I'm a very good singer when I do know the song.
It's my own design. Everybody wants to rule the world. Yeah! That was bad.
The best thing when you're doing a karaoke thing is when you realize you've missed a long note and try to adjust your voice midway through it.
As 99 red balloons go by.
Now that I think about it, why did my parents buy an 80s karaoke game for a bunch of kids in the 2000s? This is not the kind of music we would have liked, much less known well enough to sing karaoke of. I guess maybe it was because that was just the kind of music they'd have preferred to hear because that's what they listened to when they were young. I mean, fair enough. If you're gonna buy your dumbass kids some shit that encourages them to be loud, it might as well be music you actually like.
Beat that pussy up. Beat that pussy up.
So, kind of hilariously, this game's disc is scratched too. What happens is sometimes you'll be singing a song and the game hits some technical snag and the music track falls out of sync with the game, which makes things very confusing.
The night he's watching us all with the eye of the tiger. This is not, it's like face to face.
But yeah, that's karaoke SingStar, whatever it's called. It's a karaoke game. It's cool. American Idol. This is another karaoke type game we had, but this time it's based on the American reality game show of the same name. In this game, you take on the role of a contestant in a televised singing competition to see who can most impress a small panel of narcissists. I definitely don't remember playing this game when I was younger, but I'm very excited to try it now. Let's give it a go. Okay, so in this game, there is kind of like a campaign mode where you actually advance through the full contest of American Idol. And if you get all the way through the bracket and win the finals, you can become the next American Idol. So I think I'm gonna do that. Something that immediately strikes me about this game is the art style, specifically the character designs. So I'm using the default character it gives me. I didn't even attempt to change it or customize it or whatever because I didn't really care. I have this kind of stylized, cartoony look about me, a bit bug-eyed, but that's okay. But then the game cuts over to the judges, and they're just low poly realistic renderings of the actual judges from the show. So the game cuts back and forth between these realistic actual people that really exist, and then my freak alien character with creepy mocap animation.
Okay, let's continue. I've unlocked Paula Abdul. What does that mean, I've unlocked her?
This is another game where I absolutely slayed.
I'll always go on. Go on. Hey. Hold your head up. Waste spoonful of paper, clever rhyme, see you later. Words of my own. Now you're gonna raise the bar right up. No, none is really good enough. Words of mine. My life is brilliant. And I don't know what you do. I don't know. Cause I'll never be with you. Shout out Blake Baskin. No.
Stop, please. Horrible. Fuck. I mean, seriously horrible.
Or at least, I thought I did until the song ended. This brings us to by far the best part of this game, which is completing a song after genuinely trying and receiving harsh, negative criticism from the judges. It makes me laugh every time it happens.
Simon Cowell's moves that be like, oh, fuck off.
For me, from a musical perspective, is that, you can't sing. Sorry, not good, baby, not good at all.
I don't know if we'll be seeing any more of you in this contest, because that was, well, it was just not a good performance.
You managed to sing all the wrong notes, but you also managed to sing them in all the wrong places with the wrong lyrics. It's a no.
I'm only on medium difficulty here, which is the default. I guess I expected the game to be more lenient with me, especially on level 1. I don't know, I always felt like I was an okay singer, at least within the demographic of people who haven't had vocal training, which I assume is mostly everybody. But no, if you're not genuinely good at singing, you will not succeed in this game, even on medium difficulty. I knew the song's okay, and I think I was hitting the notes okay, but they hated me.
That was the worst performance I've seen yet. I mean, seriously, dude. My God, what is going on in your throat?
It's not often I get upset, but tonight I am. I don't think you put any effort at all into that performance.
Take 20 cats, throw them in a sack, shake the sack, and that's what you just sounded like.
And you know what, that's fair, right? Like, realistically, if I sang like that on American Idol, the judges would hate me. I guess I expected them to skew the difficulty curve a bit lower for the average singer, but I don't know. I think the reason why I find this element of the game, like the fact that the judges berate you afterwards, the reason why I find that so funny is because it makes me imagine that one kid playing this game, who you know must have existed. The kid who watched American Idol on TV and genuinely dreamed that one day they could walk up on that stage and become a nationwide celebrity. So they got this game wanting to live out that fantasy, and on level 1, sang their heart out, tried their absolute best, and this is the feedback they got.
Oh my God, that was painful, man. I need to take a break, man. You're not good enough for this, man. You're not even close. What are you doing?
I got excited when you picked that song, but I don't think you sang it very well.
You are one of the worst singers I have ever heard in my life, and I'm not exaggerating. That went beyond horrific.
How many people do you think have tried to kill that guy in real life?
Okay, so after turning the difficulty down to easy, I was finally ready to show Bush-era America what I was made of.
To carry on. I love you, I love you, I love you, love you. Nothing I write is ever good enough. Words are my own. My naked soul exposes. Whoa, whoa. Trying to find the magic and on.
You have totally lost the plot. Take 20 cats, throw them in a sand, that's what you just sounded like.
Oh no.
Don't ask me how, but you have just made it through to the next round of this competition.
What?
Something in this game that I was absolutely shocked by was when I got to round 3 of 8 and saw my own face in the game. So apparently this game also uses the eyetoy to project video of you in the game while you sing. And honestly, at this point, I had completely forgotten that I even had the eyetoy plugged in, so it came as a bit of a shock. Every time I saw myself on screen, I always had to strike some pose or do some dumb shit.
The vocals were average. Nothing extraordinary at all.
I think easy mode turned out to be the perfect difficulty for this game if you're not a good singer, because it's still just hard enough that you actually have to try if you want to advance, but it leaves room for you to mess up and goof around a little bit. It's really, really funny completely butchering the verses you don't know from a song on this high-end neon stage and disappointing everybody. And then when you get to the chorus that you do know, you magically win them back and somehow advance in the competition, even though you just sang like this.
And that's all I've got to say. I can't think of a better way. That's all I've got to say. That's all you guys okay.
You know how to work this crowd. They loved you. And you know what? So did I.
I gotta say, as I play, it's genuinely really hyped to bang out part of a song and see the digital crowd and the judges cheering for me. And on screen, my character's fucking hurling ass and literally glowing like a goddamn muse descending on the mortal plane, just to sing an extremely mediocre cover of Earth, Wind, and Fire.
I think you did a really nice job. Simon?
I don't know whether it's your nerves or if you weren't comfortable with the song, but tonight you lost your star quality, and I'm really, really disappointed. What were you doing up there? Is this about annoying me?
And in the end, I actually did it. I became the American Idol.
Come sail away with me.
Okay, that was a magnificent interpretation of that song. On the other hand, that was more of a fizzle than a bang at the end. It's a shame because you were doing great until that point.
I won!
It was time for one more encore performance, and this time, I wasn't being scored.
To everyone who believes in me, I enter the sea. Sir, I American Idol, look at me. I did it.
We've really had some fun tonight, haven't we? From pack dots to boy wizards, from human spiders to 3 lizards, we've gone on quite the journey. So I figured, what would be a better way to end out this long-ass, dumbass video than to go on a literal epic journey, but now we're inside a video game. The final game is Shadow of the Colossus. I don't think I need to explain what this game is, but if you're really that much of a layperson, it's a fantasy action game where you play as a man who travels around a mystical land and slays 16 massive monsters. Which might sound cool, but it's not just a cool concept either. It's a genuine masterpiece of a game that is regarded as a classic, and to many it's considered the absolute best video game ever made. I actually first played this game just a couple years ago on my computer through PlayStation's dead streaming service, which for me actually worked pretty seamlessly. I was lucky enough to have a fast enough internet connection at the time that it actually worked pretty well. I only just bought the game proper off eBay last year. I actually got it specifically for my Secret Areas video. It didn't come with the box, just the disc, encased within a Blockbuster envelope and wrapped in a plastic sleeve. I assumed when I first got it that this was a Blockbuster rental that the seller never returned and then later sold to me, but on closer inspection, this sleeve actually belonged to a borrowed copy of a JFK documentary about him getting shot. Let's pop in this final crazy game. Oh man, when I booted this game up, I knew it had to be the last game I talked about in this video, and that I had to beat it again.
It's fucking crazy how this game looks. The lighting and the birds flying, it's actually fucking top notch. I'm on his ass. I love that like the first bit of this game is you go on this guy's ass. That's one of the first things you do in Shadow of the Colossus is jump on a guy's ass. Looks sad. Boom! Oh shit. All your fucking limbs are broken after that. No! Back in the fucking water. I found a turtle. I didn't know there were turtles in this game. There's just a turtle here. Shadow of the Colossus. I'm like, hey, what's up? I thought it was gonna send me right off the fucking. Ah! It's crazy to think this is the same console that was running Simpsons earlier. This is what I do in real life. I just kind of, when I want to get down somewhere really fast, I don't take the elevator, I just do this. Feels really fucking good to stab these motherfuckers. What the f? My fire went out? Is that what happened? Am I gonna get fucking killed here? Dude. And I didn't make it, so fuck me, I guess. Yep. Now I'm dead. Now I gotta do it all. God, this is the only one I don't feel bad for. Fuck, that was easy. It'd be funny if like the eyetoy was used in this game secretly and you look into the sky and you see your face. Oh shit. Are you fucking kidding me? I'm upskirting it. I think it gives me time to shoot in the face. Oh my, okay. Oh! I'm gonna blow a fucking brain gasket. Yeah, that's the Peter Griffin pose.
Now, you could probably say this about any game ever made, but every time I play this game, I learn something new about it or get a new perspective on it. In one of my last videos, I talked a bit about this game's themes and made theories and whatever. You can watch that video. In it, I tried to get a bit academic and came up with a lens of critique one could use for games, that being the relationship between player and avatar. And as I replay, I keep finding new bits of information that complicate the argument I was making. Just a few things are like, your camera locks on to the bosses normally as you're fighting them, but once you kill a boss, it'll focus on these black tendrils that come out of the boss. They're supposed to represent a piece of Dormin leaving the Colossus's body and bonding with you, which I find interesting because it makes me think like maybe the camera isn't just generically locking on to the objective or whatever, it's literally biased towards the piece of Dormin over anything else. That may or may not say something about the story. I don't know. Also, this kite bird, which I pointed out, that's at the beginning and end of the game, that kind of represents the player in a sense. It's not just there, it also flies off into a storm after the ending credits, which makes the ending feel very reminiscent of the beginning of the game, where it flies in a very similar looking storm, which gives the impression that the story is cyclical. Which I thought was pretty interesting. I guess I just never really noticed that. I talk about Shadow of the Colossus in so many of my videos, you might be tempted to think that it's my favorite game ever, but to be honest, it's not even really my favorite game made by these developers. I'm actually more of an Ico guy myself. That being said, I've replayed this game way more than Ico, and I'll concede that it's probably, technically, the better game. It definitely executes on an exponentially more ambitious premise with about the same level of polish and care as its predecessor. Ico was just a cinematic puzzle platformer. It had many predecessors to get inspired by and form a blueprint from, and it wasn't too ambitious. Shadow of the Colossus, on the other hand, to my knowledge, had no forerunners. There were no games before this about climbing and slaying massive monsters, especially not ones that were highly detailed and that move around and make decisions and do complicated maneuvers, all rendered in real time within a vast, picturesque open world. They invented this massive, deep piece of art with no predecessor, and they did it. They stuck the landing. Like, I genuinely think, even if Shadow of the Colossus was like 70% as good as it is, if it was rushed and it was uglier and buggier and more impatiently told, I still think it would be revered to this day, at least as like a cult classic or something. But somehow it's this good. It's technically solid, and aesthetically it's just in its own pantheon compared to most other games, even still. Obviously this game isn't perfect, there are plenty of janky and frustrating moments scattered throughout, but the brilliance of Shadow of the Colossus, even beyond its remarkable technical achievements, are just the artistic choices they make, the deep sense of detail, and the open-ended story, and it's just so fucking... It's a good game. You should probably play it.
Done. Fuck.